Is this thing on? Hello, welcome to episode number 58 of the Handmade by Lorelei podcast. I'm your host, Lorelei. I'm coming to you from upstate New York. It is still snowing. So all you places around the United States that have spring weather, because there's no spring weather here. Hopefully next week. Like I said, it is episode number 58. You are watching a knitting and crafting podcast. I try to record a podcast every 2 weeks. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope that you subscribe and enjoy what you see today. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. It's so nice to have you. I'm glad that you're here today. I hope you have your knitting with you and a cup of something. I have a bit of an episode for you. I don't know if it's been exactly 2 weeks since my last podcast. I think it's almost around that time. I promised that I would be back in 2 weeks to let you know who won the giveaway that I had posted in the Ravelry group. There is a Ravelry group for our podcast, and it's the Handmade by Lorelei podcast group. You can find that by searching in the groups tab on Ravelry. I put up a post after the last episode which asked a question. I think I said something along the lines of, what is your favorite summer knitting projects? And I got some really great answers. I'm so glad that I asked that question, because people were posting their projects and pictures of their finished pieces, beautiful summery tops mostly. But I got some really great ideas for the upcoming summer months. So I did draw a random winner using the random number generator. And out of the 17 comments that I received, not including my own, the winner is number 7, which is Donna Bauman. And Donna's from California, so congratulations, Donna. I will get in touch with you and get your mailing address and send out your prize, which I will remind you was a one of the current artisan crates for 2018 for Knitcrate. And these are the 3 skeins of yarn that Donna will be getting in the mail. These are beautiful Be So Tender by Kristen Omdahl yarn. And they're 100% certified organic cotton. So along with that, I will also be sending her the information about the patterns included, and a couple of cards, and this cute little sheep. This is like a you can wrap scrap yarn around this little guy, so he's cute. So thank you all for participating in the giveaway. I do have a couple of other knit crates that I received recently that I'm going to show you today. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. The next one that I had received, I think the day I podcast last, I received this one in the mail. The Artisan Crate 2018 called Golden Hour. What's inside of this package is 2 skeins of yarn, a pattern retailed at $10, which is this. There's 2 actually. There's always a beginner pattern and then a more intermediate or advanced pattern. This is the beginner pattern. It's a scarf, this simple lines scarf. And the second one is Wave Break Shawl, both by Kiri Fitzgerald. And also in this package came a shawl pin, and a coupon code for 15% off of a website called Yarns to Go, which is where the shawl pin came from. And it's one of these little guys. So I believe this unscrews and the discs separate, and then you attach to your knitting, and you get the idea. But the yarn that came in this crate is really awesome. I've been wanting to try this yarn for a long time. It's called Dovestone, and it's a natural Aran weight yarn by Ba Ram Yu. This is 100% British spun in Yorkshire, a blend of 50% Blueface Leicester, 25% Wensleydale long wool, and 25% Masham. And each skein is 185 yards, made in the United Kingdom. So as you can see, it's got a really beautiful halo, and it's this gorgeous kind of light taupe color, perfect for a scarf or a shawl, or, you know, even that one is really beautiful. I love that. So I'm really looking forward to knitting with this yarn. I believe it's a worsted weight, even though it says on the label Aran. And it's really a lot softer than I thought it was going to be. So I would absolutely purchase more of this Dovestone yarn. I recommend it. And I like the color. I don't normally buy a lot of really neutral colors like this, so that's the great thing about a subscription box, is because you'll most likely be getting stuff that you may not normally pick out at a yarn store. So I definitely think that Knitcrate is an absolutely perfect way to try your hand at some different yarns that you don't normally purchase. I got another one. I volunteered to try out the sock crate because I've been knitting socks lately, you know. And that one came a couple days ago, and it's also part of the Golden Hour. And as you can see, it's the Sock Crate membership. What's inside this package is a skein of yarn, a pattern retailed at $5, and the total retail value of this package is $34. These earrings never stay clasped. That's why I never wear them. But they're so pretty. Okay, so this is the pattern that came by Joanna Booth. The Hills Are Alive. And this is the skein of yarn that I received. This is Vita Lana by Knitcrate. The colorway is Garnet, and it's a shimmer yarn, as you can see. Beautiful silver stellina in that, and like so sparkly. 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 10% stellina. Fingering weight yarn, 399 yards. Suggested needle size is a US 1. And these are custom dyed exclusively for Knitcrate. So you're not going to find this yarn anywhere else except Knitcrate. I'm really, really excited to do some socks in this. And I think that it would be really fun, since this is a nice kind of tonal, maybe using a variegated or a speckled yarn for the heels and toes and cuffs. I know, I'm just so unique. Like, that hasn't been done a million times before, but that's what I'm thinking. So this would be a really beautiful shawl too. I love this color so much. So looking forward to playing around with that yarn. I'm not sure I will do this pattern, only because it's got little sections of purling. Yeah, no thanks. Not going to be purling any socks anytime soon. So if you're interested in trying out Knitcrate for yourself, check the down below, the doohickey down there. I will leave you a link, and if you click that link and sign up for Knitcrate, you will, I'll be getting proceeds from that because I'm a Knitcrate ambassador. And if you want to try it out, I have a coupon code available for you. It's Lorelei20, and that will give you 20% off your first order. Like I said, I recommend it. Even if you want to just try it for 1 month, you can. You can cancel at any time. So this just popped. I don't know if you heard that, but I heard it in my ear. I know. I think I'm just probably going to leave this earring open. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking really fast. I need to slow it down. Too much coffee today. Okay, what else do I have to talk about today? Cassius, hush. So, I do have some works in progress to show you. I don't have any finished objects for the week. The thing I'm wearing is a beautiful shawl knit by my friend Nancy Adams of Round Rabbit, and she is the host of the Round Rabbit podcast. She knit this on her knitting machine for me out of this gorgeous yarn from is it Lion? No, it's the Mandala Lion brand. Yeah, Mandala. This kind of a really beautiful colorway, and I just fell in love with it. Anywho, first I guess I'll show you my sock. I haven't made too much progress on the sock because I am monogamously knitting on my current shawl. But I just figured I would show you where I'm at with the sock. Not loving this yarn, not loving these needles. The yarn is a single ply. I talked about it last time. It's Lang JaWolle, and it is a nylon and merino sock yarn. However, it's kind of a single ply, but it's kind of splitty, like really splitty, with these size 0 needles from, well, you know what they are. They're the, you know, the ever popular Driftwood needles, which I don't think I would buy again. I don't know. They're alright, I guess. Maybe with a different kind of project or a different kind of sock yarn, they'd be okay. It's not like I'm gonna throw them away. I mean, I'll probably just keep them and use them, but the problem is I didn't buy 2 pairs of needles. I don't know why I did that, because that means I'm knitting 1 sock at a time, and I am no good at that. As you can see, I have lost interest in this. I'm not gonna rip it out yet. I'm gonna keep it in my beautiful little Round Rabbit bag, and maybe get back to it at some point. I'm not going to show you that other sock I was working on that I showed you last time because there's been no progress made on that either. For the same reason, I'm only knitting 1 at a time. I've lost interest. Not going to rip it back. I'm just going to wait and see if my interest in that sock resurfaces after this shawl is done. So as you know, I'm working on this epic SosuKnits Flamingo Flavor shawl. And it's coming along. I'm keeping this in my Luna Pie Designs camper bag. Here it is. I'm knitting this on some tulip needles. These are bamboo needles, and I love them so much. They've got, they're not interchangeables. They're a fixed needle, but they have this twisty option. I don't know what I'm saying. Tulip brand. I think their size, I don't know, whatever the pattern calls for. 4, maybe 6. And I'm knitting this shawl out of 3 colors. This gray is by O Wool. It's oval superwash fingering. And then these two are from Fiber for the People. This is Lights Through the Trees, and this is one of her trial run colorways. It's non-repeatable, I believe. And like I said, this is all I'm knitting on right now. This is getting really big. I wish I could show you this in a, you know, reasonable way without, hopefully it won't fall off the needles. But as you can see, it's got the center panel with brioche triangles. It's reversible. And then the sides are done in my third color, which is the teal. And this is the short row section. This is the side I'm working on right now. After this, okay, so this is like seed stitch, and this is garter, and this is more seed stitch. When I get done with this seed stitch section, I have to do that on this side, and then I can finally start the brioche ribbing. Yeah, there's like a border. And then finally I can be done with this. So I was thinking I was going to be able to do the brioche section with these two colors. Turns out I'm not going to have enough of this, I don't think, because look at the ball, it's shrinking very fast, and I still have the other side to do of that last section. So I'm probably going to have to do the brioche section in this, which is fine because the rest of the brioche is done in this anyway. So what else do I have to say about this? I have to say that I'm glad that the designer did it this way, where you do the seed stitch on both sides and then it breaks it up with this section of garter, just because I was really burning out after the two sections of the seed stitch. But now that's where I'm at now. I'm almost done with this side. I have like 3 more repeats to do, and then I'll be able to start the other side, but it'll probably take me a few days to get through that, and then I can start the brioche. But I am loving my color choices in this. It's going to be so beautiful when I finally get to wear it. So again, this is SosuKnits Flamingo. You know, it's funny, I thought it was called Flamingo Flavor. It is. I looked at the pattern. But Chevirel, the Chevirel's podcast, she showed the pattern on her podcast because she's also knitting it, and it only said flamingo, so she was calling it the flamingo. So I don't know what that's about, but it's really cool, and I'm excited to do more brioche now. I just love it. It's amazing. This is such a great project. I absolutely adore it. So I totally recommend it if you're into this kind of a thing. This big, huge, epic shawl has taken me a couple weeks to finish, but I think it's going to be so worth it in the end. So that's all I've been working on knitting wise. I have been doing a lot of sewing. I've been making a lot of shop samples for Tiger Lily, where I'm working now part-time, and I will show you my progress on my quilt. I did talk about this last time. I am sewing this as a sample for the store, and it's called the Cut Up. That's kind of the pattern there. She has a lot of these little cards, laminated cards at the shop, and they're really great because it just shows like the instructions on the back side, and it's really like basic and easy. Not a lot of details to get hung up on, which I think is great for a beginner. So I chose that one because I thought that it wouldn't be so obvious if my squares weren't exactly lining up, because it's got these sashings in between each row. It's not perfect, you know, by any means, because I'm a beginner. I did end up telling the shop, the woman that runs the shop, I'm like, I won't be offended if you don't want to hang it in the store, because I know I'm a beginner. And she's like, no, I want to hang it in the store. So here it is so far. I've got 3 rows of panels done so far. Hopefully you can hear me. I love this fabric. This is called Dear Mum. It's for Moda. And it's got, this is a layer cake that I'm using, so it's pre-cut 10.5 inch squares, I believe. My favorite is that bug fabric. Lou helped me pick out the sashing color, and it's just a plain kind of creamy white with similar color. Get down. Similar color dots and lines. It's kind of subtle, but it all ties in together. So I know I can't show you the whole thing. This quilt is actually going to be pretty big. It's my wingspan, and I'm about 5'9", so get a better look at it there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So as I mentioned before, when I do shop samples, they hang in the store for 3 months and then I get to keep them. However, I won't be able to, like, I get comped the fabric, but I don't get comped the quilting part, so I'll have to pay for that if I want to have it quilted on the long arm machine. And, you know, I'll be responsible for buying the batting and the backing. But I think I will, because I think it'll be really nice to have this quilt as a finished piece for myself. So that's my quilt project. Another thing, actually I do have a finished object. It's a bag. I am obsessed with sewing patterns from Svetlana of Handmade.etsy.com. And she just came out with a brand new tote pattern called the Stella Tote. For a limited time, she had a sale price on the bag. I don't think it's on sale anymore, but it's got this really fun pieced front pocket. And I just had to make it. So I tried my best to do mine in fabric that I had in stash. So a lot of these are scraps of things I've used in other projects. And this is a kind of a teal chambray that I got at Tiger Lily. And I love the combination that I chose in those colors. The rest of the bag is done in a black canvas, which I got at Joann Fabrics. And the handles in the pattern, it calls for leather handles. I didn't have any leather on hand. It also gives you an option of making your own handles out of fabric, but I wanted to avoid that step, so I just used some black webbing that I also got at Joann Fabrics that I had in stash. The interior of the bag is lined, and it's got this awesome fabric that I got on clearance a couple weeks ago. And it's kind of got like, it's like a feather pattern, like a peacock feather type of pattern, but I just love the I love it so much. It's so great. So there's a zippered pocket inside, as you can see there, and it does zip up. Like, it's got these facings, so the bag closes and zips up, which is a really nice option. Instead of using a snap, which she calls for in the pattern, I decided to use a magnetic snap just because they're a little bit easier to install. However, when I did that, the ugly part of the front of the magnetic snap was showing, so to cover that up, I riveted on this little leather tag that I got at Joann's, and the reason those rivets are there is because I accidentally riveted that little thing on through both the front and through the pocket and the bag itself. So I basically riveted the pocket closed, which would have been fine because it would have still worked as a double pocket. But that's not really what I wanted, so I ended up taking it off, removing the rivets, and so it worked out fine, but just to avoid like a lot of fraying on that fabric, I just inserted 2 new rivets. It's for myself, so it doesn't matter to me. I love this pattern and definitely will be making more of these eventually. The one thing I'm not sure I understand is it does call for a long zipper, like 14-inch zipper, I think. So here's the zipper, and when it's opened up all the way, it doesn't really give you that much more. I mean, it opens as much as it opens. It doesn't open more because of that extra zipper. The problem that I'm having is that I don't really know what to do with that once it's zipped up, because I just feel like that looks kind of stupid. But you can tuck it down in with a little bit of finagling, which is typically, I guess, what I've been doing. So in the future, I may get a zipper that's more the size of the bag width instead of a longer zipper. I hope that makes sense. So, loved it. I love this bag. I've been using it a lot. It's perfect in every way. So that's that. As for new things I've acquired, I was watching a podcast. I can't remember which one it was, and the podcaster was talking about Kohl magazine. So I went ahead and bought the most recent issue, and it's so beautiful. If you've never seen this magazine before, you should definitely get it. I believe it's manufactured or printed in the UK. I might be wrong. Or the Netherlands, actually. So it's got that really cool Scandinavian aesthetic, and I love it. The reason I wanted this issue is because there is a great article in here with Aruna of Buku, and it's about her recent discovery of punch needle. And as you may or may not know, I'm kind of into that right now. That's one of her pieces. It includes a project for that pillow. So cool. So, I haven't sat down and read this article yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. But the thing that's cool about this magazine is that it's got, I pretty much want to make everything in here. It's got knitting projects, weaving, crochet, punch needle, needlework, macrame, a guest story with a potter, spinning. It's like all in one. Good issue if you're looking to for something new to read. I recommend it. This is the issue number 5. If it wasn't so darn expensive, I would collect the rest of the issues. I believe there's 4 other issues available on their website. I ended up buying this one though from Pearl Soho. I thought it was going to ship from New York City. It didn't. It shipped from California. So just keep that in mind. And shipped via UPS, so it took a while. But it's probably a lot quicker than if you were to order it from the Netherlands. Just saying. I don't have any other new yarn to show you. I will in my next episode because I ordered 2 skeins of some fingering weight yarn from SosuKnits. It's on its way. It's probably going to be here today. I'm really excited to see it. It's a new colorway that she just started dyeing and it's gorgeous. So I'll show you that next time. It's a sock yarn, but I bought 2 skeins because I thought maybe I want to do something else since I'm kind of on a sock hiatus at the moment. I don't know. I hope I get back into my sock groove. I was all into it and then that shawl happened. So hopefully once I get that shawl done, I will be back on track. I'm trying to think if there's any other new patterns that I want to do right now. I think the next thing I'm going to work on though is a punch needle something or other. So I have an idea in my head of a pattern that I want to do of my own, just for a wall hanging. So I will hopefully talk to you about that next time more. Maybe I'll have started it by then. And I don't know. The one thing I wanted to talk about is my sweater. I feel kind of bummed out that I kind of petered out on that cable sweater that I was working on last year, and it was supposed to be my Rhinebeck sweater, and then I got to the hood. I mean, I'm so close to being done. I wish I could just finish it because it's kind of like ruining my whole sweater mojo, and now I really would like to do a cardigan next. Something easy without any cabling or anything crazy. I have yarn in stash. I've got some Knit Picks worsted. However, here we are moving into spring, although it is still snowing, so. I also have some bulky yarn that I could use for a new sweater, but I think I might hold off on that just because I won't be able to wear it. At least with the worsted weight sweater, I would probably be able to wear it toward the end of the spring, up until the end of spring. But you know, as New York State weather goes, usually I mean, we have 6 months of winter. It's disgusting here. I don't understand why I live here. I would love to move, but my husband's a teacher and he's not willing to make that move yet. He wants to retire here. Once he retires in another 10 years, then we can, you know, maybe relocate. But up until then, I'm stuck here with this 6 months of winter crap. But I remember last year it was really cold through April and then spring never happened. It just went right into summer. We ended up having 90 degrees. So I don't know. It's not really cohesive to a knitter's lifestyle as like my own, but what are you gonna do? So I'm gonna stop talking now. It's been 35 minutes of me rambling on. I'm sure there's a million things I forgot to tell you. I do know that there was a million things I forgot to tell you for the last episode about my shawl and how I ended up having to rip back. I never even told you that I did rip back that repeat while I was at my mother-in-law's, just so you know. Like, I did it in the morning when I was like awake and could really concentrate, even though they were there. Joe was there and his mom was there. I laid it out on the ottoman and I just made it happen. So I ended up picking up the stitches with a spare needle all the way across, and then ripped the two, because you know, it's brioche, so it's two skeins of yarn, so I had one row after another, and it was perfect. I picked up the stitches perfectly and was able to get them all back on my working needle, and it was amazing. So I was really proud of myself that I made that happen. I'm sorry I didn't go into more detail about that in my last episode. I'm not sure what I think it was the live, because I recorded that episode live, so I wasn't thinking. I was like racing through it, and I don't know. I'll do a live episode again at some point that's a little bit more planned and announced, and so that people can actually show up and, you know, converse with me. I think there was like one person that I was conversing with through that episode, because I did it early in the morning and a lot of people that were on the West Coast weren't awake and were kind of bummed that they missed out. Sorry, mean girls. So I will definitely think about when I can do a podcast later in the afternoon and live. So more on that later. Till next time. Thank you so much for watching my podcast today. I hope that you're interested in sticking around for future episodes. If you are, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of future episodes, hit that little bell and you'll get an email every time I upload a new podcast episode. So again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye!